I remember it didn't really work out Call of Duty wise, but I remember I always hung out and I always stuck around and helped you with stuff. And then um, right when I realized that Call of Duty really wasn't working for me, I started switching over to more of like management positions and stuff. And you gave me the chance to. You joined Timeless as a. Were you a streamer or were you a content
I
creator?
joined Timeless as a streamer when I shut down the org in the beginning of this year while we were kind of finishing out our COD season. And then that obviously you know how it went. The rest of our
Yeah.
roster know how that went. And then
Uh,
once Timeless shut down, we all decided, you know what, I have the org. Let's run it back up, and look where we are
I'm
now.
glad
We've gotten
I'm glad that Mason or Tragic, whatever you want to go as, he gave me and Jacob both, or Platinum. He gave us both the opportunity to be like co-owners, and unfortunately that didn't work out because we didn't really see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. But I'm glad that I was able to take like that experience with that org and bring it to Phantom because we've known each other a lot longer. So our uh, like our friendship has helped me out because if I suggest something like I did in Timeless, it got shot down a lot when Platinum and I would suggest stuff. But now
yeah, I
we've
remember that.
known each other. Yeah, now we've known each other a lot longer. So if I suggest something, you're gonna look into it. You're not just gonna shoot me down immediately, and that's what I appreciate about Phantom as well. It definitely feels a lot closer. It feels like one of the tightest, like tight knit group org wise that I've been a part of.
Yeah, I remember Timeless was. Don't get me wrong, was a great organization.
Yeah, for
Like you
sure.
said, I know I remember you and probably Jacob or um, Platinum, whatever you guys want to call him, telling me that he was not allowing you guys to do certain things, and then one of it was like Discord and get rid of people on a server. When you have a Discord amongst an organization, you want it to be active, you want the community to be involved, and your players to be in there. Whether they're scrimming, they're playing, and they're just messing around, you want them to be in that server so it looks active. And when you get people that follow the org, it's like, oh wow, like this org is doing stuff. But yeah, like you said, one of the things I really focus on for this organization is making everyone feel like it's a family. Me and you, like you said, I've known you for probably what almost 2 years now,
Yeah.
and I mean we've talked almost every day basically since then. So our friendship alone between me, you, the co-owner who I've known since sixth grade, we have a friendship that isn't just a working relationship to where I am the owner, you're one of the not streaming managers, the social media managers. If you recommend something, I'm gonna look into it, and more than likely, it's going to go through because I trust you. I trust Basic as a CFO. Warfare as our streaming manager, Vertigo, Huff as our content creation guys. I trust all of you guys, but what you guys want to do or certain topics that you guys want to implement into the org because we all have that experience. We all work together either on a team, we've been in the same organizations, we've done the same kind of have the same thoughts and views on some of these things we want to get done and how we want to not run the org but where we want to get it to.
Yeah.
So keeping everything as a family, even like our R6 team, see that Dan Trister in here. I don't ever treat them like they're just one of my teams. We
Yeah.
treat them like any other member that's either staff that just community member, whatever they are is family. So when we talk to them, it's just normal. It's not business all the time. It's not what is going on with this and that. We joke around, we have fun, we get to know each other. Like I said, everything. I want everyone to feel like family. Brothers. We're all brothers and sisters. Jules, the coach of the R6 Pink roster. Now she does a lot of work for that team.
Yeah,
She
she
runs
does.
them more like a staff member than I do. Not saying I don't, but I try to. We let our rosters and our coaches, managers, like our team, the team, individual team staff, do what they need, do what they feel is going to be best for that roster. If at any point things go wrong, we have to step in, then we'll step in. But no, I try to make it. as family friendly to say with all of our members because that's, in my opinion, it's the only way we're gonna grow. We can't
Yeah.
be extremely strict to the point where people are like, oh well, that guy's power hungry or they don't listen to us, or, whatever. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I know Tom. I don't know if you're still in here. AOG Vader, the owner of Afterlife, when we played for them.
Yeah,
My opinion, he was very power hungry for what he wanted to do.
that's one thing that I like about like being a part of organizations, because I've been in my fair share, is you learn, even though like for Afterlife we were just playing under a spot in a tournament, not tournament, in a league for them. We weren't exactly like super like high up in terms of anything for Afterlife. Like the you learn like not necessarily bouncing around from org to org, but every org has something that you can take out of it, whether that's good or bad. And one positive from Afterlife was the support that we got in our games was insane.
Oh, absolutely. I
And
think we called him the Blue Wall because we were
yeah,
in what is the Trends League, the small league that had maybe 100 followers on Twitter. We were getting
we were,
easily 50 views with that
yeah,
organization. That's one thing I did
we
like about that org. It was very very close
yeah.
knit.
And like you said, the one negative thing was just Vader was not having any of it, because we were all we got permission, because we were all, except for Warfare, I think we were all in Timeless at that point in time, and we got
Yeah,
permission from Mason to play under a different org, because back in the day Timeless was super known for Call of Duty, and he didn't want another Call of Duty team at the time, so he didn't mind us playing under Afterlife, and Vader vice versa. He did not want us being a part of two orgs at once, so we dipped.
yeah,
And
he
then
did not. The amount of messages I got and complaints I got from that
I remember, because
was
you were sending it to
insane.
all of us, and I was
Yeah,
like, let's
because it's
bail.
not just my business; it's yours too. You guys are part of the roster. But
And
on
then
top of that, it wasn't. It was. I think literally the only one was Warfare that wasn't in Timeless.
yeah,
Between all of us playing, and then Resistance as our coach, we were
yeah,
all members of Timeless. So when he heard that, he just
he was not
freaked. He
happy.
was not happy. And that's
And
one
then
thing with that is I just not
I
that I didn't
remember,
agree with that. It
because
was just he gave me so
wasn't
many
Tom
problems.
wasn't Tom the one that brought the offer of Afterlife to you?
Yeah, Tom was the one that brought us in. Um Me and Jimpy originally tried out for Afterlife on one of the for their tryouts for their because they were doing two teams at the time. And
Yeah,
then
I
put me and
remember
Jimpy on
that.
the same team and with what we had it just wasn't working out. And then you messaged me or I messaged you cuz we wanted a team and whoever you were playing with at the time and just Modern Warfare season sucked for everybody. Teams were in and out, but so I messaged you, Vert, and then Warfare. We ended up playing together, and well, at first it was me, you, Vert, Warfare, and then Jimpy. But
And
Jimpy
yeah,
just we had problems. He left. He stepped down from the roster or whatever.
and then in between Jimpy and Huff, we had who
Um,
was it? I can't think of his. It's
oh
I'm
man,
drawing a
Warfare. Do
blank
you
right
remember what his name was? Oh, Blixt.
now. There was someone. Who was it?
Off
I
the top
don't
of my head,
remember,
I
but
can't
there was.
remember.
It was another mutual between us, and he dipped out of practice one day, and we didn't hear from him again. And I remember that you messaged me the next day, and you were like, "We picked up Huff," and I was like, "That's a good choice." And then
We went
you
into our
said,
first league match without me and Huff even speaking a word to each other.
yeah, and we
Good times.
was that, yeah, that was the one that we won. We won 3-2. We won the
3-2, and we won in round 11.
yeah.
Around the very last round in Search and Destroy an Arclov. I remember that very, very clearly because, like I said, it was as a roster, it was our
Our
first practice, basically, first game, first time I
our
talked to
first
Huff.
our first hardpoint map was Azir Cave,
hmm
and I remember, I think we lost like 250 to 190 or
It was a
something,
close one.
and I was like, man, I'm like, we lost our first map as a team, and then we absolutely obliterated them on Piccadilly Search, and I was like, oh, we can do this.
Piccadilly Search for I don't want to know. I don't know if it was a short period of time, if it was a long period of time, but Piccadilly was our bread and butter for Search and Destroy. for a
You and
couple
Warfare
months.
combined on Piccadilly Search was absolutely disgusting.
I
With
don't know why,
Warfare
but
and his sniper spot, watching the entire mid map, and then you
uh,
just popping. I remember that first game. I think you dropped like double digit kills, like you were going
I
off.
might have. But I wouldn't use the M4 on any map but Piccadilly, and that's the only map I really felt comfortable with it until very late in the season when we went through all the roster changes.
I think it was you who you had like a 1v3 or something, and I just remember the final kill, like you were running and you picked up this HDR, and I was like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "What are you doing?" And you sniped the
Jeez.
guy, and I was like, "All right." I'm never doubting this man ever again in my entire life.
Route Man Warfare says, Me and Warfare were. If Warfare wasn't feeling the HDR or AX50, I know I both of us use the HDR, so the HDR on Piccadilly, we just switched. It just was, what, Warfare, you go to the AR. Dates, that's
That
who it was.
that's who it was.
That's who it was. But yeah, if like I said, if he wasn't feeling the AR or the
Thank you, Warfare. I knew you'd
HDR, I was on it. But yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
and
Dates was
that's
it.
one thing that I like about what I liked about our five man was not necessarily if one of us was having an off game, but it wasn't like, oh, Warfare was missing his shots and like there's our sniper gone. Like we had another person in our five man that could pick up that responsibility and like basically like flip it around. Like every one of us did our own little part of like IGLing. Everybody like if Huff and Vert were the main like MP5s, if Vert had a bad game, Huff would be there to pick him up and everything. And of course, there's me just sitting in Hill the entire time.
I remember
But
one game on St. Petro where you had 3 minutes and 13 seconds in the hill
yeah,
with like I think like 10 kills. But
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
I
We
went
won. So
I went positive still. I think I went
like
like 10
six
and
deaths.
9, and I just remember Mike coming in the call. He unmuted himself. He's like bio. He's like, how in the fuck do you have 9 deaths?
Mm,
And I'm like, I didn't see anybody. I'm like, you guys were just mopping the floor with everybody.
yeah, it
But
was.
I
It was
definitely
a good team.
think that for that team, bringing Mike in was such a huge improvement for
Absolutely.
us because it was like the missing piece that we needed because we all played well and we played well together. We all liked each other.
That
It's
was one
just
of the
like
big things with that roster. Is we, like you said, all of us, we had a good connection. We had a good bond with each other. We never really argued about amongst, things went wrong. When Mike was our coach before he like left California and he went on his trip, whatever, we were in a good spot. Like
yeah,
even like Tom just said, he said before Vader really scraped it or scrapped it, we were in a good spot. With Resistance as our coach, like we were really learning the ins and outs of things, and it was working because I mean Trends League had a couple of good teams that were either at our level, maybe better. Like that one, I think it was Team Core that beat us
but
pretty easily. Like, but we were also going through like a rough patch. But you know, there was things that went wrong that I could have changed or you could have any one of us could have fixed. But things happen. The roster ended up not working out. But like me and you said, we still all talk. We're all still part of the organization. We're all, I mean, Warfare's our streaming manager. Your social media. We got Vert and Huff that are um, content
content
creation. Yeah, and then Basic, who ended up subbing in for you when you took your break, is the CFO. Is dealing with all the
and
financial
if I
stuff.
remember
So
correctly, he's Warfare's team's coach now. I
yeah,
don't
and
know
he's
if he
coaching
still is,
Warfare's team. Yep. Yeah. So I
but
mean, even though
yeah,
the roster didn't work out, you know, we all agreed that that this roster doesn't work for next season. We went in knowing that
yeah,
even though we're not teaming together anymore, we're still going to be family
yeah,
basically. No, there
and
was no bad blood between any of us. No one hated. I didn't hate you. You didn't hate me. I didn't hate Warfare. No, none of us. We're all still tight. We're all
yeah,
still good friends. We talk. But that's the one thing that team is a very good example of how I want this org to be run. How our teams are, how our members are. It's family. If you have something to say, it's gonna. I'm gonna try and not cater, but try and make it or do it
yeah.
as best to my ability that I'm like of what you want. But
And something that's also cool is like I know I play Warzone with Trist sometimes. Like just because he's in the team for Rainbow Six doesn't mean he's like limited to Rainbow Six. Like
oh yeah,
Kersey plays Rocket League, but Kersey will also play other stuff. And it's nice having that, like, Daddy Mike was beautiful. Yeah, Warfare. I know you guys got along really well. You guys were playing GBs with each other almost every single night.
Yeah,
But
we played a
it's
couple of
nice
GBs with
that
Mike. The 12 o'clock 4v4s. Eh,
yeah. I just oh
good
no.
times.
Shout out to Warfare going AWOL for a month playing Minecraft. Um, but no, it's like Phantom's got a community that's nice enough within the org itself that uh, we play whatever with whoever. It's not like you and I are like it's like, oh, it's like Bio's running with Minty again. It's like everybody can and does play with
Mm.
each other.
Yeah, like you said, regardless if you're on our competitive R6 roster, you're not limited to just play R6. I know there's some orgs where it's like you're practicing, you're doing this, only that game. No, we want our teams to have fun while competing. It's not there's absolutely stress level to competing. There's burnout, and that's you've had it, I've had it, Warfare's had it. We've all gone through burnout in some point in our like competitive experience. I know recently Trist on our R6 Green roster had something along that lines where things weren't just going right. He took a break and he came back. But being able to do things in between and having fun with your roster, having fun with other members of the organization, be able to play other games or do this and that really helps keep a team and players succeeding in what they're doing because it limits that stress. If you're constantly just like what we were doing with our roster, we wanted to get better, so we were constantly practicing. We were playing. I think you know we were never taking breaks really. It was
Yeah,
kind
we
of
weren't.
just all right. We're getting on and we're gonna scrim. We're gonna run league, and it was just we're drilling this stuff into our head day in or night out and night in. We were on every night, practicing every night, trying to do our stuff, but
We were on
it's a
like every
lot of
night
stress.
from like 9 until like 2 to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was the main thing that I think if we would have worked on, we might have had a better run, even though we went like 4-1, 5-1 in that league before
Mm.
it sadly folded,
Yep.
was if like the frustration, because obviously Modern Warfare was not the greatest game in the
No.
world, and we would get frustrated with it, and then like it was almost like we wouldn't block each other out, but we would get frustrated, and it was almost as if like if we drop a map, we would just blame the game. Like it wouldn't be like, oh,
Yeah.
I
It
could
wouldn't
have done
be.
better. It was like, man, this game sucks.
Yeah. Which like you said, the game was not the greatest, but
Tr-
there was
Trist
a
says I
point where
personally think Trist says he thinks that we should put him on the COD team.
there you go. But you know, screw it. I don't know. You're sticking to R6 right now, at least.
Yeah,
But
you're an animal.
yeah, like you said, the game just pissed us off, all of us off so much that we didn't care for anything else. It was just, regardless of how we played, it was just this game sucks. I'm a culprit of that too. I
Same.
absolutely hated
For
that game.
sure.
I think one of the things about that game too that really bothered me was, and it bothered me in Black Ops 4 too, is I hated 5v5. I
Yeah,
don't think COD should have ever
agreed.
switched, but you know, we all had our excuses on it. But it's season's over. We're going into Cold War. Personally, I don't know what I'm doing yet.
I might
I
give it a
might,
try at the beginning. I might just try and get a feel for it. And if it doesn't feel right, then I'm just going to focus on the same shit that I've been doing, really.
yeah, exactly. As much as I want to compete this off season, I've really, really just been enjoying playing with either some of our members or my IRLs, just playing whatever, whenever, not being I don't mind the schedule of playing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever. Match
Yeah.
this day. But the way last season went, it was just so. I don't even think stressful is the right word. It was there was so much to it between the game, like between none of us liking the game, and then between issues with the actual game, the guns, between the internet connections on everything. No matter what you played, it was either the internet was really good for you or it was really bad, and there was no in between. There was just it was so much. Warfare 4v4 MW works really well. It's actually enjoyable. You know what? I agree. I haven't played it, but I'm gonna agree with you regardless. Is like I just said, I thought 4v4 should have been what Black Ops 4 was, and should have been what Modern Warfare was. Personally, I don't like 5v5. It adds a role of it adds an extra role in COD that wasn't needed. It's basically just and they changed the game. They got rid of all the strategic elements of the game instead of it being
Yeah, it was just a clusterfuck, and it was
yeah,
just playing for
exactly.
trades. It was
It's
just
all it
trades,
was.
and
It was
that's
just
literally
trades
all
and
it was.
rush the hill for the respawns. Trade and rush B, trade and rush, P2 and get the early rotate. And then if you spawn, and the spawn system was horrible. And if for Hackney Yard, we liked the map, the spawn system was garbage. So if you had control on P5, you were spawning at P2 on the other team, as the other opposite team. So when we would be like, oh, all right there, and then we wouldn't get a break. We'd spawn out on the opposite side of the map. I don't even know. So far away that it was just hard to just wrap your head around it. And then I don't know, man. That game, if it was 4v4 warfare, I think it would be much more enjoyable, like you said. But it brings it 4v4 makes it more tactical, in terms of like strategy. Because like I said, that extra role, that's what I really want to emphasize right now. That fifth man is basically run whatever we need on this map whenever we need it. It doesn't matter if it's your first hill, you're running AR, second hill, you're running sub, and then you're switching back and forth. And then you're just either running around or you're doing nothing. You're sitting in the hill, which isn't nothing. It's good, but most of the time, like look at Pristini is my favorite example of what that fifth so-called just extra role was because he in 4v4 was doing extremely well, and then 5v5 came around and he was just not that he didn't do well. He either popped off or he sucked, and that's just
Yeah,
because that role was just
yeah,
thrown in there. There's nothing for it.
you get pushed in the dirt as that role because you do the dirty work,
Hmm.
and yeah, on paper your stats look like shit, but he was still super important to his
Oh,
teams and
absolutely.
everything.
Especially with the Huntsman, he was so important with that roster. Even Florida when he played, and in Black Ops 4 too. But that role, if he was just to be a sub player and he was to play here, here, and here, he would have done so much better. But that role of that fifth man just being do whatever the team needs you to do is kind of just it was overkill, really, for 5v5. It was just wasn't
Yeah,
didn't fit it right, in my
but
opinion at all.
something else that I appreciate is because I was talking to my buddy about this when he told me that he wanted to apply the other day. Is that um content creators in Phantom are not limited by a popular game of what's out right now. Like he was nervous because he wanted to apply, but he's mostly playing Smite right now. And he was like, I play Smite, and he goes, "Are you guys okay with that?" And we were like, "Yeah, content is content.
It doesn't
Like there,
matter what it is, as long as you're pushing it out and you're doing stuff, you're active. I don't care if it's Warfare's Minecraft server or Vert's Minecraft server for 2 months at a time. If you're putting content out, it doesn't matter what game it is. A lot of content creators when Warzone came out switched to Warzone, just Warzone, Warzone, Warzone because it was popular. And the same thing with Among Us, Fall Guys when they came out. But you're not limited. You play whatever you want to play. Smite, you play Smite. Paladins, you play Paladins. You want to play COD or CS, go for it. You know, just pump content out. Do what you want. Play what you enjoy. Have fun with it while you're trying to grow. We're trying to go. We're all trying to grow. That's our main goal. But we want you to have fun with what you're doing. If you're making content and you're sitting there and you're just like, oh, I gotta play this game again, you're not gonna enjoy it and you're just gonna stop. Do what
yeah."
you want. Have fun. Enjoy your time doing it. That's my biggest thing. But you know, I like that you bring that up because I think can't remember. There was one org that I was a part of where they had content creators for each game. I know Apex, there was content creators for Apex, and that was it. Like if you were content creator, you weren't playing anything but Apex, and in my opinion, it just doesn't work. It's like how are
Yeah,
you gonna
no,
tell me what I'm allowed to play or what I'm allowed to do and make content with on my channel? The only thing we tell our streamers and content creators not to do is just don't say or do anything stupid that's gonna make you or the org look bad.
yeah.
Other than that, run with it, go, have fun. But yeah, that's one another thing I do like about how we run the org. Trist over here, top 20 in the Phase 5 back in the day. Trist, man, you are an animal. We can touch on that too. We'll touch on the our R6 teams. They're both really performing really well. Our green roster picked up another win yesterday in ESA.
Yeah, that was a really, really close win. I remember I think I was busy at the time. I don't know what I was doing, but I remember I came in right when they dropped map 1 and I was like, "Oh gosh." And I remember
You know
watching, I
what?
think map 2 was Cafe,
Yeah.
and I got sent to overtime. That was a really, really close game.
You
And
know what? Coastline, man, map one. I don't know who picked Coastline. Actually, I think they said the other team, Toyota Camrys, accidentally picked up Coastline when they meant to ban it. But you know what? Coastline is one of those maps in the ranked and competitive pool that I absolutely hate. It's just so there's almost not like an easy way to attack it. It's so defender sided. I feel that any way that you attack that map is just hard. There's so many different elements to it. It's just, I mean, there's so many different elements in the game in general, but Coastline just, I
and
don't like that map.
that for our green team, that's something that I appreciate as well. Is that league that they are in? Granted, it's not like pro league itself, but it's a pretty professional league with casters and an analyst and everything. It's not, even though we were doing well in it, it's not like the Trends League where it was kind of very
No, just
poorly
here
put
you go.
together. Like it is a very, very professional setup thing, and our team is doing well in it, which is great. And
Even the other leagues are in
even
SCS, I think it's CCS or whatever the other ones are that they,
yeah,
the
and
quals they're run very professionally. They're
it's so cool
a
to
lot better
see,
than we
like,
were.
when, like the game was starting and he's like, up next we've got Toyota Camry versus, and he's like, oh, he's like, we've got Phantom Legion. Like Phantom's like starting to get like more and more recognized.
Mm.
And granted, it
Especially the
may or
R16.
may not be because we have Dan, because Dan, I remember when he tweeted that he joined him
I think
alone.
he got 200, so
Yeah,
200 plus likes, 100 plus retweets or something crazy.
yeah.
But
And like our
like
the
you said, it
org
may not be because of him, but
Yeah,
it's
the
helping.
org page blew up from it, and I'm just glad that even though Dan joined and everybody like blew up and was like, "Oh, Dan's on this team," blah 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 blah. Like the team is still doing good enough that it's not just, "Oh, this is Dan's team," even though everybody jokes and calls it Dan's team.
Or the
Green,
Weebs team is what everyone's hearing now.
yeah, the we fucking Dan. It's still thriving and they're still doing good. So that way, like if they tune in, they're like, I want to see this team that Dan's on. It's like, oh, they're actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's
And
they performed really well in the last season too. I mean, they made it to the finals.
yeah, I was gonna say, didn't they place
Sadly
second?
they got second place, but that's still
Yeah.
you went from the lowest, whatever the lowest like division so called, to the highest one that ESA has, and like you said, compared to what we were competing in, this is very professional. There's casters, analysts. It's run extraordinarily well compared to what we were. Like our caster was Predator, who
we don't
had his
we don't
child
talk.
in the back and called you. What did he call you?
It was, dude, I don't
We had
even
well
remember.
one Warfare was Warframe. He
Huff
never
was
called.
heavy.
We had Heffy. We had
Vertigio.
Vertigio. He never called me Minty. He always just said Mint, which I don't know what that one letter at the end was a big deal. And then I don't. Oh, bye. He just called you bye.
Yeah, that's what it
Bye.
was. It
He
was just by.
never ever got our names right. He was very unprofessional on his streams. We didn't have set casters, and like you said, ESAs run very very professionally. There was a point in time where the owner of Trends League messaged me asking if I could help him run it. And that's where, right after that happened, I tried to do a couple things and make everything, try to make it more, the scheduling better, the streams better, something along the lines, like getting Wigs to stream them. But it was just so unbelievably hard between the other captains, the actual owner himself, trying to play in the league, which, whatever, but you have to have something else helping you
Yeah.
do it.
And
And there was nothing to it. And then out of nowhere, it just shut down. No one got their money back. The league just ended. The Twitter page disappeared. His Twitter disappeared, and that was the end of the story. ESA, on the other hand, like been run very professional. The owners in their Discord are very active. They are in every one of each individual team has their own channels. They have where they ban their maps, everything. It can run extremely well compared to really any other league I've seen. Maybe
Yeah.
besides one other league that we've participated in, but I mean I don't even remember. I can't even put a name to it.
But yeah, on the back on the Call of Duty side of things, I remember because Vert Vert's got what team does Vert have like color wise?
Vert right now has Crimson. Warfare's is Cyan.
Yeah, I've got pink. I really haven't been doing much. I've just been waiting for Cold War to come out,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
I think Vert's kind of under the same bridge as me. He's just kind of waiting and like treading water, waiting to see what the game. But Warfare's managed to pick up a decent group of guys, and they were
Welfare. That's that too. We called them welfare a couple times. But yeah,
um
the team right now we have Basic, the CFO, who's coaching them. We have Warfare,
Killmonger.
Killmonger, Benjamin, and Bleed.
They also have Vesper. I think
Vesper's
Bleed.
gone. Vesper,
Oh, really?
Vesper's not on that roster anymore. I think
Oh,
there's one
okay.
other. But right now, Killmonger is the captain, Benjamin, Bleed, and Warfare the four, and we have Basic as the coach. They've been performing well. They have experience. Warfare is just a gunner. The guy just unbelievable. But you know, they have a bright future for this year.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see that he managed to stick with the team, and they were playing in some tournaments and stuff for Modern Warfare, just getting a feel for each other, and that's good. That's good to have.
Especially 4v4 variants. And one other thing, since you were talking about Warfare, I give Warfare all the props in the world, like the world, for this team, because he wasn't even when he was just filling in for one of the tournaments, and they brought him as a sub, and now he's starting on the roster. And it's been, from my knowledge, a little under a month since they've been playing, but I mean, that's incredible. It's good. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, shout out to you, my Joey duo. Um, yeah, I'm really excited to see once Cold War comes out because right now, as far as I know, it's me and Krim still. I love the kid to death. I always want to compete with him. I know him. His mom is my boss. Um, I love the kid to death. So I'm pretty sure it's us right now. I'm not sure who Vert's got. I think Nas,
Nas
Anthony.
and I'm not sure. I think I'm not. I
I
don't
don't know
remember.
what Huff is doing.
Huff's on the fence. I know.
Yeah, I know.
Huff's
I know. The last time I talked to him about it, he said he was kind of iffy. He was kind of on the fence, and if he played, he wasn't sure who he wanted to play with, which is completely understandable. It's really kind of hard to choose considering our whole team that we used to
is
play with is
different.
now
We
eh,
have
scattered.
Emerald on my roster. Is Emerald if I do end up playing. We have yours as Pink or Magenta as we went with those exotic names. We have Pink, Magenta, Crimson, and Cyan. But like you said, we have four members that were on one team, and Huff's kind of that fifth guy that now he has three other rosters he could possibly pick. But
Yeah.
it's a place where he's kind of stuck in the middle. You know,
And it's not like what I'm excited about is all of us have our own experience. Granted, we've played a lot with each other. Semifinal, yeah.
yeah, and that
Warfare.
too.
That
I
team.
wasn't
That
around
team.
the
I
roster
remember
that time.
watching it. Yeah, they placed. I think you guys placed fourth. And you guys look phenomenal. Especially that clip that you posted. I remember watching it while I was eating because I told you you were my entertainment for dinner. You got that three piece on gun runner and I was like I almost spit my food out. I was like, oh, I'm like, these guys are nasty. And that first map, you absolutely buried that first team that you played against. And I was like, oh, I'm like, this team is gonna be scary come Cold War. I remember that. Yeah, you guys look really good.
They're gonna be good.
Uh,
They got a bright future for them.
but like I was saying, everyone, like, it's not like together is our whole career. Like, we've all played a little bit on our own. Before I even came to Phantom, I led Lucid for the COD team, which was me, Cracker, Platinum, and Crim and Draco. God love the kid.
Ugh.
Um and
Basic picked up the team. Okay. Or
um
Basic picked them up.
yeah, that was my 5 man, and I was running that, and then that's when I met you. And even like I said, we didn't Call of Duty wise, it didn't really work out too well. But I remember I stuck with that's when we met. I met Warfare afterwards, and that's when I met Vert as well. Was through Elysian,
Oh,
and that really did not work out either. But like able to still keep in touch with everything and just kind of mix and match and play and whatever and do this and do that. So everybody like it's not like Vert's leading his team, I'm leading mine, you're leading yours, and Warfare's got his own team. It's not like we're flying blind at this point. Like we know what we're doing. We have the experience,
mm,
and we're hopefully we have four different teams that um potentially are gonna raise hell in Cold War, and it would be really cool if we find a league and all four of us get into it because scrims would be that's another thing that I didn't even think of.
yeah. I mean,
Four
there's
teams,
at
four
least three
teams.
scrims a day, really.
Yeah, the scrims are gonna be the possibilities are gonna be endless, and it's really cool because granted it's different teams, but we're still under the same
The same
org.
name,
So
yeah. We're all in the same org. Like you said, we're all friends. We all play with each other. We all have the individual experience. It's just right now, it's just a matter of waiting for Cold War. Um, then everyone has to figure out their rosters from there. But yeah, I think it'll be a unique season going back to 4v4, especially like on top of all the other stuff. But Warfare's team right now is gonna be is like the main roster. They're the most right now. They're the
they're
most set
exper-
team.
yeah,
They're the most experienced. They're practicing. They had the most. They had I don't even the biggest bond to say, or the most unique bond of a team right now out of all of us because they are practicing already before the season. They're doing 4v4 tournaments. They're in a league or whatever they're doing. They're doing more than what I'm doing as a team. I mean, right now I think it's me and
same.
Jimpy, and I'm not even sure anymore. Kind of, uh, who knows? Just how it's going right now. Just who knows? But yeah, Cyan, Warfare, Killmonger, Warfare, Benjamin, and Bleed, Coach Basic. That team is going to do very big things, and like you said, raise hell this year. But if we go back to the R6 topic, like we were talking prior to COD and going into war, like Warfare's team, your team, mine, etc. On top of Green playing well in ESA, our pink roster has also been doing some really good stuff. I think they're gunning into some leagues now. I know they had not like a little bit of a backtrack, but I know Jules, their coach, manager, just moved to Alaska from California, which I think if you're in here, you're absolutely crazy. It's too cold to go there. But, I hope you're having fun. But we have Jules and Dudesky as the coach, managers. We have Drax, hashtag Silver Savage. Um, I never know how to pronounce his name. Akvama. We have Revnot and Reactive. Is that's the pink roster? That's with subs and starting all together. But they have been playing very well. We're getting them into some leagues soon. Hopefully, even next season, come ESA, maybe hopefully we can have them and Green in ESA, and then they play it out from there. But they have promised them as well.
Yeah, I've been watching a bunch of like their scrims and stuff just because like when I get home from work and everything, if nobody's really on, like I see them and they invited me. It's not like I just barged my way in there, but they invited me. I've gotten the chance to talk to Jules, and she's super nice. She's super kind, and she told me that I can sit in on their scrims whenever I want to, and I, don't- I like I basically I just mute my mic and I just watch and I just listen. I watch like Jules' perspective because she just like she records the VOD and
Mm,
everything, and I just watch from her perspective and like being able to like throwing it back to like Call of Duty just because I competed in that. It's like listening, like it's like an Astro Gaming listening, but it's the entire game.
mm.
So you get to just hear everything and you get to hear how they play, who's got what role, who's like the
You get a
IGL, like
real
actual.
feel for how that team runs. because
Oh
I've
yeah,
sat
and
in
it's
on one or
super
two of them
cool.
as well.
It's super cool.
Jules runs that team really well. She schedules everything out really well. Um, I said same thing about Simply, and I'm not sure who the other one is for the green roster. I gotta go and look real quick. Oh, Simply and Titans Fly. They do a really good job of coming up with strats and things of that nature. For green, but Jules and Dudesky really, I want to say more than Dudesky, but Jules does. I feel like she does do a little bit more. She schedules everything out like extremely organized since she is a teacher. If it's matches, scrims, it's time. You have to be on at a certain time. You have to do this at this time, this here and there. Yada yada, so on and so forth. But the way she runs that team is going to set them up for success. They just need a little bit more experience, and they're going to run with it. Same
And
thing with
that's
Green.
something that you said. It's not even necessarily just the Rainbow Six teams or anything. You can apply it to the org itself. What I like is that, especially because a lot of us staff wise know each other and we've known each other for a while, within the org itself, everybody holds everyone accountable.
Absolutely.
Like you said, if they have a set scrim time, I see it all the time because as staff we have access to every chat. If they say they're playing at 8:30 Central Time, if like 8:25 rolls around, you see them like, "Hey, like 5 minutes, you guys getting on? Like everything okay?" And it's like everybody holds each other accountable. It's like especially like cuz a lot of people want to make this their career and stuff. Like there's no BS about it.
No, it's like I said. I mean, me and you, we wanted to make COD our career at one point. I mean, still, something that sits in the back of my mind. But right now,
Yeah.
my thing is to make running this organization my career. But like you said, I've seen it in Green's roster, I've seen it in Pink's roster chat. If you're not on by usually if they set up a time like you said, if it's 8:30 p.m., if someone's not on by 8:15 ish, someone in the chat is saying, "Oh, are you guys getting on?" Whatever, blah blah blah, and they answer. They answer each other quickly. They answer each other with when they're getting on, or oh hey look, I might be a couple minutes late because I was eating dinner or I was out with my family. Whatever. I'm just getting back home. Doesn't matter. Their communication is very well. They practice, I think 5 days a week, and they scrim or they have a league match or whatever the quals. But they do very well on how they schedule and how they go among their planning and what they do. I know Basic is doing a lot of that with the COD roster with Cyan now, doing a lot of that kind of scheduling, planning, coaching that roster to where they can be a solid roster going to challenges this year. Much like Jules and Simply Titans Fly dudes, he's running that team very well. So the staff member, well, the individual roster staff, the management coaches that we have under this org are doing exactly what we asked them to do, exactly what we're expecting. If they need to make roster changes, they're doing it. If they're, there was one point with, I think it was Green, where the captain was like, "Oh, you guys." Even today, I think they had a role switch, and Giorno, who's the captain right now, said, "Look, you're switching to this role, and that's it. That's the end of the story." They okayed it, but our captains, our coaches, they do what we expect them to do as the leaders of those teams. It's not. I don't want to say it's not individually just a huge like. No, because when we were playing, if I was to say, "Oh, do this," then you said do this, and they listen to who's in charge, and it's good. Everyone has their own opinion, but listening to that kind of superior almost like your captain, your staff
Yeah.
is that goes a long way. Because if you're just gonna spit everything out at once, it's gonna could be your downfall. But having a well-run team like our two Rainbow teams and Cyan for our COD team is really well, and it's shown they're succeeding right now. So it's proving
Yeah,
well.
for sure.
But let's see. I mean, our streamers and content creators, they're doing their thing now. Warfare, who's on our COD Cyan roster, is also our streaming manager. I think we'll get him on a podcast possibly next week if he's free. If not, we'll do it next Thursday or whenever he's available. But we have our projects are slowly but surely starting to fall into place. We had our first highlight video for our R6 Green roster after the ESA match last week. And then we had our top 5 plays of the week. All thank you to Hyperio, who's our video editor, who's done a phenomenal job. The overlay you guys see now, done by Milobite, who's absolutely incredible. We're slowly but surely putting the pieces together to get to that point where we want to be. Having Milo doing our graphics, having Hype do the videos. One thing we really wanted to do, or myself, Bio, our staff, was put videos out on YouTube to kind of gain a following, and not even just a following, but to really interact with our community, show them showcase our teams, have a podcast like we're doing now, or highlights from matches, things like that. We weren't able to do that a couple months ago because we didn't have a video editor that was able to put these kind of videos together. We didn't have the teams we have. We didn't have the graphics designer, to do the thumbnails and the overlays like Milo has done for us. What we have now, we're in a stable spot. We're slowly but surely we're getting to what we want to do, how we want to do it, and it's working well for us right now. Like Bio said, we've had a very big growth in our Twitter page lately. We're closing in on 800 followers. It may or may not be because of Dan and his following, but if it is, great. If it's not, awesome. But having each of our teams succeed well, or having a good presence on social media, finally getting into YouTube and getting videos out weekly is going to be a huge thing for us. I'm excited for the future of what we have here. Between staff, players, everything, everyone's on board with our goal, our vision to become a mainstream media team. Like I don't know, Astralis and CS, or Optic Gaming. Well, before the whole thing happened with Hex, 100 Thieves, whatever organization you think of, we want to be up to the top where they are. That's my goal. I'm pretty sure that's Biohazard's goal. It's Warfare's. We all want to be on the top. That's the whole point of running the sword. So, that's what I have for that. But other
Yeah,
than that,
and like we said at the beginning, I've been here. Obviously, Minty's been here since the beginning. Um, let's go. I gotta mention.
of course, dude.
Um, um, we've been here. Obviously, him longer than me, but we've been here for a very long time. And even like we're getting to the point now where obviously, yes, like the growth has been insane, but we're not settling anytime soon.
Absolutely.
It's still up from here. It's hopefully our green team will close out ESA on a strong note. Pink will um, go through one of whether it's SCS or CCS or both, either one of them, neither of them, whatever league they find that they fit well in, do and end on a positive note. Same for all the COD teams. It's just at this point, it's just where can we go from here and how do we achieve it?
Exactly. And right now, achieving it, I think we're on a good start with how our rosters are performing. The rosters that we have now, they're extremely capable of being, those top teams and leagues and challengers, whatever they're doing. Like I said before, we have the staff. We have, I'm not giving up anytime soon. Like you just said, it's not just because we're closing on 800 followers doesn't mean we're stopping. There's only more. There's only next goal's 1,000, and then 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. But we can't stop what we're doing now. Now that we have Hyperio, we have Milobite for graphics and video editing, we're going to be pushing out content more than we ever have now. We're going to be, highlight videos, podcast highlights, that's, if Hype wants to edit stuff on this, go for it, But we're going to start pushing out stuff that we haven't pushed out in our past that we're hoping not grows us, but it gets more of an audience that's like, oh wow, Phantom Legion's doing this, Phantom Legion's doing that. It's gonna give us that following that we want and that we strive to have, along with having a community that it actually wants to be involved with our teams. Following us, following our teams in ESA or whatever it be, or following our content creators or getting to know them, being in our Discord and being able to play with everybody, chat with staff. Because like I said, if you come in and you're just a community member and you're not on a roster, you're not part of staff, content creation, you're still a family member. That's all there is to it. As long as you're a part of our community, your family. That's why we have the hashtag Phantom Family. Because once you're here, you're always going to be here. We're not just if you leave or you have a better offer and you go. It's not. I'm not going to hold it against you. Take it, do what you need. But we're all a family at the end of the day, and that's one of my biggest things. I stressed. I not stressed it. I really elaborated on the beginning of the podcast. Now I'm going to say it again now. Like I said, no matter if you're a team, staff, content creator, member, you're a family. You're here, and we appreciate you. And that's my biggest thing is, like Hex. Hex has always kept his players and people that run his org close to him, and that's what I plan to do as well.
Like I said, when we were talking about like our personal careers and stuff, I joined back on the COD team. I wasn't any management or anything. I joined back when we had a little over 100 followers, and if if Minty wasn't a man of his word, and if he didn't like people leaving and stuff like that, I wouldn't be here because, like I said, the COD team didn't really work out for me. But we stayed close and we stayed good friends, and here we are now. And it's definitely been one of the best orgs that I've been in, and it's it all happened because Minty kept in touch with me and wasn't he didn't take it to heart that I left because I had other offers at the time. So just like understand, like if anybody's watching this like from the outside that's not in Phantom, just know that like he is a man of his word. He's not just talking out of his ass at this point. He let me back in after I left, and the progress that I've been able to help bring in and everything has just been insane, and it's all because he gave me that chance to come back. So yeah, he is a man of his word.
I appreciate
Trust
that,
him.
but like you said, that's I say it and I really emphasize it being, if you leave and you come back, I'm gonna give you a chance. Everyone, like you said, you got an offer and you took it. Well, one, I think I encouraged you. I said best of luck. I never was like, oh, Biohazard kid sucks. We stayed in touch. We played COD or Rain, whatever the hell we played on PlayStation or whatever it would be. No, we were always in touch, and that's one of my biggest things. I'm not gonna hate you if you leave or you come back. It's like I said, you're a family regardless. If you're in Phantom at one point, you're a part of my family. That's it. That's all. That's all there is to it. But well, like Bio said, I'm sticking to that. My word of you being part of the family, I'm gonna stick to it until if the org ends up being huge, that's still gonna be my word on it. I'm not taking that back anytime soon. But I don't think I have any other topics. If anyone that is in the stream currently has any questions for myself or Biohazard, go for it. Other than that, I think we really covered majority of what we wanted to cover on this PL podcast one.
Yeah, it's been about an hour, and it's a pretty normal podcast length.
Yeah, about that. A little, just an hour and 3 minutes is the timer says in the Streamlabs. But you know, I'm not opposed to it going longer. If anyone has any questions, I'm here because the boys flat says. There you go. What did you say in
Yeah,
the chat earlier about a drunk podcast? I don't know about that one, but
we'll see. That scares me right now.
yeah, like Milo Bite said in the Discord, it's the drink of truth, and a lot of stuff might come out there. That not about the org, but about other people. But who knows? That's who are these
Who are these?
sexy people? Grim, we already know who they are. Come on, get a
Where's
hold of
Jimpy when
yourself.
you need him? Let's go, Porter.
Yeah, let's go, Porter.
But yeah,
Or
no,
crim
I'm
sex.
glad that our staff is pretty tight knit, which makes it easy. And what's another big thing that I like is that just because I'm mostly keep track of the social media and stuff. Like I said, I've got a buddy who came to me about content and everything like that, and I still send him over, give him the application, and everything. Just because I'm the social media manager doesn't mean that they're not gonna listen to me. If I'm like, hey, I've got my buddy coming over. He's interested. It's like, okay, this is somebody that Bio knows. It's not like he's a social media manager. What does he know? It's like we all trust each other, whether
Yeah.
it's
So
staff
whether you're
members talking
exactly,
about people, whether it's you were mentioning earlier with our COD team, whether yeah, you might be the IGL, but if I notice something, I'm gonna call it out, and you're gonna trust me on that. Everybody here trusts each other too. We're all in this for the same goal. We're all here to benefit each other. We're all here to make this as enjoyable as possible, and that starts with trust, and that starts with a good foundation and communication and everything.
exactly, which I believe that we have. I believe that no, me and you have a good trust factor. We have a good bond. We communicate really well. Same thing with basic and warfare. Our staff is very close, like you said. Um, and like you were just saying before, just because you're labeled at your role in the organization as social media manager doesn't mean you can't go and recruit people to bring them in or have an input on what our R6 team, or if we want to bring in this team, whatever it is, doesn't mean that your opinion doesn't matter. I value your opinion. I trust you on almost everything that you've said. You know, like you said,
And
if you input something and you think it's gonna work, majority of the time I'm gonna let it play out. And if it doesn't work, then we stop it. That's it. I'm not gonna just shoot it down right away and say, no, we're not doing this because as you said it. No, that's not how it
yeah,
works.
and something that's also nice is we're all good people. I know someone is I put it in the chat a while ago when that kid reached out to me about the Rainbow Six team. Even though I'm just a social media manager, it's not like I was like, yeah, dude, I'm only in charge of social media. Like I don't know what to tell you. No, I helped the kid out. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out. He was too young. If I remember correctly, I think he was
Yeah, I
only like
think he was 17,
yeah.
or not 7, like 16
I
or
think he was
something.
I think he just turned 16. So of course obviously it didn't really work out, but just because I'm social media manager, Warfare's streamers, Vert and Huff are content, it doesn't mean that you're limited to that.
No, I like that everyone has an opportunity to do whatever they want. You know, just because you're, like you said, you're a stream manager, I'm not going to limit you to that. I want you to do whatever you think you're going to succeed in, or, I want to put you in a place to where you are going to succeed. If my whole thing is I don't care who it is. If you're in my organization, I want you to succeed. So
Yeah.
if you're going to say something that you think's going to help and you think it's going to help the organization or yourself, I'm going to try and help you with it. I'm going to try and do it to the best of my ability. Because for things to work, and like you said, we have to have a strong connection between our staff members, between our teams, and if there's not that factor among everybody, it's just gonna drop.
What is your favorite memory about me? Well, Zach, I've known you forever, and I've my list is too long to count. But if we're just gonna talk about gaming, um, it's probably either when we first started playing Modern Warfare, and I have that clip saved of you in Bottom Hackney where the guy runs in front of you and then dies, and then you explode out of nowhere. That one is one of them. Um,
My
uh,
favorite memory is him only wanting to use the M13 throughout the first couple weeks.
he just kept saying, "Just trust me," and I mean, he did well with it. I remember that, and then
Yeah. And then
um,
towards the end of the year, me and you made it a SMG
yeah, and I'm like, "Oh my god," I'm like, "This actually works." And my first thought was to message him and be like, "You may have been onto something,"
all year. We doubted it.
or in person, it has to be I'm just gonna you and Platt both. It's got to be Oklahoma, and just going down and being able to hang out with you guys.
No, I had a
Anytime that
feeling you were
all
gonna
of
say
us
that.
anytime that we all hang out, whether it was the one weekend when we all went to the haunted house, anytime we get to hang out is just it's memorable and it's super funny.
I felt like you were gonna say Oklahoma strictly because of the story I heard about. I'm gonna throw it out there. Platt, I mean not Platt. Krim, you're going right under the bus. Waking up after your first blackout, man. That I wasn't there for that, but that story and hearing it from you as well, Bio Platt, that's
Oh,
something
dude.
for the ages. That was hilarious. That
And I
was
love them both to death, but it was 100% Platinum's fault that Krim woke up the way that he did. And mistakes. Hello, how are
how
you
are you,
doing?
man?
Welcome to the podcast. But yeah, no, it was 100% Platinum's fault that that happened to Krim. He was, as the night went on, he was pouring him mixed drinks, and they were just slightly like more and more with each drink. It was just less mixed and more alcohol, and he did him dirty.
Oh
But
man.
no, and I'm hoping to eventually, by the sounds of it, the weekend of the 21st, me and Huff are going to go visit Vertigo, and he's got some small little land that he's setting up for Cold War. So that'll be really fun. It'll give me the chance to meet Huff, even though he lives an hour away from me. I've never met the guy. And Vert, because I've vibed with Vert forever. And hopefully, once if that works out, I want to take a trip up to Jersey sometime. Probably when the weather's a little
There you go.
nicer. No, thank you. I
You
don't
don't
want to
want
deal
to
with the
come out
weather.
here when it snows and yeah, it's
But
no fun.
I want to get the chance to meet you in Warfare as well. Just
Dom
because that
too.
was.
Basics out here too.
Oh yeah, you're right. Just
Yeah.
because
Dennis,
our
the co-owner, Snow.
yeah, that was our COD team, and that's just so I've always wanted to get the chance to actually like see you
That'd be a
guys.
fun time. That'd
I
be a fun
remember
time.
we all kept joking if we were gonna win Trensley, we were all gonna hang out and party and
Party,
celebrate.
yeah. And
And
then it ended.
we were on track. We
We
were on
were.
track.
And then it ended. And then we never heard about
Yeah,
Trends League again
we
for.
got ghosted by a COD league.
Yeah, well, he never gave me the entry fee back. The page disappeared. His personal page disappeared. There's no track of Trends League anywhere.
Yeah.
Like the Google Doc that had all the teams on it, gone. There's no access to anything. There's nothing there. That's just wiped clean. Like the FBI wiped it off or something. That is
So
just
weird, man.
gone. Yeah, that was something. That was Jesus.
Okay, not my fault. That's
I think Krim would have
eh.
to say otherwise, but
Yeah, he says, "Oh, it definitely is." Yeah, I mean, I side with Krim on this one, Jacob. I side with Zach. That was tough. But no, I can't wait for the next road trip with everyone, and hopefully we can include more. You know what? Goal for 2021. We're getting a Phantom Team house.
that's a goal. That's definitely a goal. That would be lit. That would be fun. We'd
Oh
have to
yeah,
go
for
somewhere
sure.
cheap. Jersey definitely is in the wave.
Yeah,
It is
I
way
mean,
too expensive here.
dude, even like around me, like it's not that expensive at all. It'd be something. It'd be cool, and I feel like it's like Ohio's like the central location of where a lot of people is because Platt's up in Michigan. You guys are in Jersey. Vert's in I think
St.
close to
Louis,
St.
yeah.
Louis. So it's like that central location. I'm not saying like this like it's not I'm not saying like this would have to be it, but it's like something like that is
Yeah, like
close
the
enough
middle
that
area.
yeah.
Or we can just all, say screw it out to Texas.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know about that one. That'd be enjoyable though. Texas is, I don't know, it could be the future. Texas is
Yeah.
nice. They got everything. Everything's bigger in Texas, so who knows? Other than that, I think that's all I have for this podcast. Bio, if you have anything else you want to add to the end of this, other than that,
Mhm.
I thank you guys all for coming out to the PL podcast number 1. Next Thursday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern, we'll have another one live. I'm not sure who's gonna be on it, but we'll release a topic closer to that date. But for now, I thank you guys all. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Yep, see you guys.
to my knees. I could tell myself I'm strong enough to give all the love that I need, but I still need you to hear.